okay? So when we look at exercise and we look at the fitness principles, we look at 4 different fitness principles. The overload principle: in order for a body system to become more efficient or stronger, it must be stressed beyond its normal work level. So you have to do more than what your body is used to doing in just a daily routine level. For a young person, that might be a much higher load that you have to work a lot harder to get to that than an older person. Okay, specificity principle. This refers to training specifically for an activity or isolating a specific muscle group or movement pattern. Okay, if you are a track runner, you use this specificity principle a lot because you train towards a particular event, right, or a particular exercise. Progression principle: gradually increasing the intensity and duration frequency. That way the body again begins to gain strength and endurance. And then the reversibility principle, the old adage, if you don't use it, you will lose it. And that is, if you do not use a muscle group, that muscle will begin to deteriorate. That muscle will begin to grow less effective. Okay? So when you are making an exercise plan, and in chapter 1, you have to make exercise plans. Now let me be clear. You make exercise plans in chapter 1, both a strength plan, a flexibility plan, a cardio plan. Okay, you make all these plans. It is not required that you use those plans to then each week you're using those plans and you have to put that down as your activity. That's not what that is. Your activity for each week is what you decide and how that reaches your overall wellness goal that you put in your introduction. Okay, so what you're able to do, though, is you're able to make these plans, and what we're really looking for is, do you understand what is needed to make a strength plan? Do you understand what is needed to make a flexibility plan, so that when if you reach a point in your life in which you need one of those, or you have to use one of those plans, you can make one. When you make any exercise plan, these things are included. Your goals. What is it that you want? What's the goal that you would want to achieve with a strength plan? The mode is how you're going to do it, right? How you're going to do it. What's your mode of exercise? Are you running? Are you lifting weights? Frequency is how often, duration is for how long, and intensity is at what's the heart rate? How hard is it? How difficult is it? Okay. Cardiovascular exercise is a needed form of exercise for anyone. What's great about cardiovascular exercise is you can oftentimes tie cardiovascular exercise into another type of exercise. For example, many people have some level of cardiovascular exercise while they're doing strength training, if they're doing it at enough intensity and at a high enough rate that gets their heart rate up into that zone, aerobic zone. When you look at cardiovascular exercise, here's what has to be included: fitness aerobic benefits. So intensity, frequency, duration. Okay, frequency is 3 to 5 days per week. The duration, this is walking, for example, or biking or jogging and so forth. Different health benefits: weight loss, stretching, make sure you stretch, rest, you have to account for rest. Okay. Cardiovascular exercise programs typically have a warm-up that prepares your body, a warm-up that gets your increase in body temperature and gets your heart rate and blood flow going. The warm-up also makes sure that your heart rate is getting close to a target zone, so that you don't hit your heart rate too fast, or that you don't have huge fluctuations in your heart rate. You probably want to try to make it consistent. Cool down. That's where we bring your heart rate down. Lasts about 5-10 minutes. Okay, allows your breathing to come under control. So, calculating your heart rate. To calculate your max heart rate, you take 220 and you subtract your age. So if you're 20 years old, your maximum heart rate is 20. Okay, this is pretty simple to figure out, and it's pretty accurate. So, for example, a 40-year-old, their maximum heart rate is going to be 180. All right. if you're 46 like I am, my maximum heart rate is 174. Okay, so when my heart rate gets to 174, and I have a Fitbit that I use, I know when I've hit 174, that's my maximum heart rate. What that tells me is that's where I'm getting the most benefit in my exercise in terms of burning fat, in terms of strengthening my heart, improving my cardiovascular health, is when I can go to that maximum heart rate and I can stay there for a certain amount of time. Okay, that intensity level. All right. You can improve your cardiovascular heart rate and your maximum heart rate just by going and using some of these set targets like explained here in step 4. Okay, your heart rate reserve, so your maximum heart rate minus your heart rate, your RHR, your resting heart rate. So if my resting heart rate, I told you I'm 174. If my resting heart rate is, I'm going to use easy math, 74, then I know that I could get my heart rate reserve at 100. Okay, so if I take my HRR, which is my heart rate reserve, okay, is 100, I multiply that times 0.60, I get, of course, 60. All right, then I add that back to my resting heart rate, 74 plus 60. Okay, you can kind of see where I'm going here. I'm at 134, and 134 then is my 60% intensity. So I know when my heart rate is at 134, I'm working at 60% my heart rate. I can use these things to basically judge how intense my workout is, how intense my run is, or if I'm walking or whatever it might be.